Hey everybody, welcome to Bike Radio.
What's up, everybody? Josh Noggle, aka CX Noggin.
Yes.
I'm a mountain bike racer, cyclocross racer, road racer, gravel racer, a little bit of everything. A fellow coach at Evoke That Bike.
If we've never met, I'm the co-founder and president of Evoke Bike. I've been coaching athletes since 2010. I've trained with power myself for over 150,000 miles. I think I'm most proud of nearly 100 Pro 1 podiums just to show my consistency in the game and hunger to get better for myself and this community. If you enjoy this podcast, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or follow and download episodes from Spotify. And if you really want to take your support to the next level, please click the support link at the bottom where a donation of even a couple dollars will help us pay for everything that keeps this free podcast going. Now off to the show. CX Noggin.
What's up, dude?
Oh, I'm double evoked. Damn it. I try not to do that. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. How are you doing?
I am, packed up, ready to come back to the USA, guzzle some tap water.
Nice. Yeah, so you drank water early on. I remember reading that. But you were fine, right?
It was, I think I was fine. I woke up in the morning. We got there the first day of travel was super long. It was from Fort Lauderdale to Atlanta, met Matt, flew to Quito, switched in Quito, went through customs, flew to Guayaquil, got to the hotel at like midnight, 1 a.m., crashed, woke up, not crashed on the bike, went to sleep, woke up, was thinking, I'm thirsty. We boiled some water because we were making coffee. I filled up a water bottle. I chugged it. We made coffee. We went to breakfast. And then we saw bottles of water. And I was like, oh, no. Uh-oh. And so I texted my brother-in-law who's been over here and my buddy who lived, I forget where. And I said, am I totally screwed? And apparently Pepto-Bismol can like soak up toxins. And my brother-in-law said, take 2 doses right now. So I went to the store. I'm like, this is not how I wanted to start the trip. So I think I was fine. I mean, to be honest, and not to get too weird with it, like my gut has not been perfect. It's been, I don't think I had a stomach bug. I think there's just like the food is just different here. A couple people got sick. Some people one guy got a parasite. One guy got a bacterial infection. A lot of people were not having the most like solid poops. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. I think it's, I don't know. I'm excited to come back and not have to, I mean, because then you wash your bottles out and you're like, well, did I just put bacteria in my bottle? But you don't really have a choice. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 6-liter jugs of water that we went through in the past, I don't know, few days. 4 guys fill up 3 bottles, you come back, you crush more water, you make coffee. Like apparently you use water for a lot of things in life. And brush your teeth. I'm tired of squirting water on my toothbrush and then brushing. And I got this whole system down. And then you put water in your mouth and then you brush with the toothbrush to get the toothpaste off the toothbrush. Then you spit that out. It's just like, oh my God. You're in the shower. I like keep my lips closed. But I think, it was actually very interesting today's ride. First day I felt good. And I heard from Owen Schott that it's every 1,000 meters, so about 3,000 feet that you change, you need 11 days. Today was day 11. And I woke up and I'm like, I'm going to go crush this 20-minute climb. I actually did pretty decent. I got top 10. And some of the guys that are on the top 10 didn't even ride the whole thing straight. They like stopped somewhere. I was like, that's embarrassing. But it's the guy who won the tour. His watts are silly. And I didn't want to look up how much he weighs. But anyways, the altitude plus the night before we got dropped, and I won't spoil the whole episode that I'm gonna do with Matt, but a lot of people were either not sleeping or my stomach was jacked. I thought I got really sick. It was the first time that I went to bed. The emotion wasn't worried. It was really weird because the hotel in Quito, we were 5 people in a room. absolutely horrible. 5 adult people with 1 bathroom. Granted, it was only one night, but of course, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, man, my stomach, it felt under my rib. Something was really sore. And I thought, I'm like, did I hit it? Like, and it just, I wasn't hungry. That was a weird sign. And that made me think maybe I had a parasite. I was like, maybe something's eating all the food, or I guess then you would feel hungry. I don't know how that works, but the only time I've had a parasite, I knew it. I was both ends. It was not good. So I went to bed thinking, am I going to be in the bathroom all night? And then I'm going to have to go do this bike race. Luckily, I fell asleep and I never woke up. And then just didn't feel normal in the morning. And, it's unfortunate, but I would have loved to see, and the reason I bring this up, I would have loved to try to see if I could have made it over that first climb with anybody that was in a group of some sort. It split into 2 like main groups, and then it was the gringos and a bunch of like bad Ecuadorian riders, and the race was over. So,
but wait, hold on. And stop me here if I'm like giving anything away from like a future episode you're gonna do.
Yeah.
But you mentioned this in the coach's call yesterday, was that on that day when things went, horrible, bad, yeah, you guys were gonna attack. So, but it seems like there was confusion with where the neutral ended.
No, okay. So we thought, everybody was so shocked that we did anything. And all of a sudden it's kind of like, man, these white dudes, maybe they can climb. Like, we don't really know. So I was envisioning, here's my vision. We start the race. It's like flat. We attack. We like come to the first climb and like maybe we get dropped. We are rolling up a climb at 8,500 feet. And I'm thinking, man, this is a pretty stout neutral. We're not going super easy. I'm definitely pedaling this bike, and we're climbing up. All these roads were high. It's through Ecuador, all these big highways. So I think it was 3 lanes or something. And there was just a vibe that the race was about to start. But we're going, I don't know, 9 miles an hour. Like, we're not going fast. And I thought we were rolling down the road a little bit. So all of a sudden I'm probably 40th, 50th position. I should go back and look and see how fast this all happens so fast. It's like Family Guy when they fall. They go from standing to flat on your face. I'm looking at the lead car. I'm like, it looks like the guy's about to, oh my God, is he about to wave? Are we about to start this race? And the flag goes down and it was just like gangbusters and 80 dudes just smash this climb. This is it's like, if you've ever had a red alert in a race, this was it. Matt was instantly shattered. And I remember, I think it was Henry, who's the guy one of the 2 guys who finished the race. He's like, dude, I think we lost Matt. I'm like, dude, if we lost him now, he's gone. Like, there's no coming back. Like, you can't pace someone up this hill right now. And as he's saying, I'm like, I might be next. Like, this is hard. And the group split in 2, and I could see a front group of just like 20 freaks like ripping down the road. I'm like, okay, well, maybe the second group isn't too bad. And honestly, I didn't like black out. I just was like, went really, really deep for as long as I could, and people just slowly rode away. And then there was a group of, I don't even know, man. There was like 6 of us. And then I looked back and there was like shrapnel behind us. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll like all regroup. And it was just, could never catch my breath and was just dying. And then finally they were gone and you couldn't see them. And I was like, oh my God, and then the caravan comes by. So we're going to get in the caravan. We're going to catch them. It was brutal. Just couldn't stop panting. And then it was you're dying and you're not even like pedaling that hard. And we hit a downhill and I was like, I give up. I can't, like, I need to catch my breath. So I was like, we were on like 40 or 35. We're going fast on this downhill. But if you were in a normal race, you'd be like 54.11 pedaling your ass off. And I was like, I can't even pedal. So that was super disappointing. And then it just got worse. And tune in to the next coffee break away because we'll talk all about it. And it's going to be a good episode. because there are stories that happened 12 hours before that it was just a very interesting 36 hours, and it all happened so quickly, and it was a lot of different emotions. And it's tough to go from the high of, like, I broke out in tears when Matt won. I was so pumped for that dude, and I couldn't believe that we actually did it. And it was the stage that literally he said to me when I first got him involved in this, hey, I'm ready to like work for this team, whatever. I'm like, dude, we're all here to work together, but don't go in with the attitude if you're going to work for the team. Like, you could maybe win something. Like, going with that attitude that we are all going to be winners and we're going to try and win this stage. And I said, dude, 140-mile stage. That's the one we were going for. And it felt amazing to be in the break from the gun. It was such a long day. And I knew when Matt took off that if he could catch the two guys up the road, he would win. And if he got over the hill with them. I didn't know how good they would climb versus how he's not a very punchy guy, and they climb very punchy. And I said, okay, maybe somehow they get away. I think he could still catch him on the flats, but it's 140 miles. You never know. And that was all going down at mile 120. So anyways, when he got away, it was super awesome. And then, it's just a few days later, stage race. It can be a doozy. It all started to turn on the bus. It was a long ride to Quito. It's only 3 hours. I don't do well on buses. I don't know what it is. Even if I'm in a passenger seat, I get car sick really easily. That's why I always drive. And yeah, it was from when we got to the hotel until the next night. It was just like, man, this sucks.
Who's in the bus? Is it like a bunch of, like, or is it just your team?
Our team, 3 random like nurses, like massage students or something that like went city to city. They were on our bus twice. I couldn't really figure that one out. And one time we had another team who was the team that actually ended up winning. They were this like local smaller team and just had this crazy climber and pulled off the dub. So that was, nobody saw that coming.
So I stopped following the race on Pro Cycling Stats after you guys got out. I was just like, but understandable. Yeah. But what I'm curious of is that the dudes who were like the local guys who were keeping up with you guys on the first couple of stages, did they end up doing well on the latter end?
They finished. Okay. Yeah, I saw the guy with the green jersey. He finished. We were battling, not even for the green jersey. We were always in the break together. I was in the break the first 3 days. And then the 4th day, they wouldn't work with me, which really pissed me off. And it was the day that after the long stage, and then it was kind of like a flat, the 4th stage was like a flat uphill rise. And the finish was, you go over like maybe, I don't know, 3-4%. And then it is a downhill into the finish. And all I'm thinking is master's nats. I'm going to wax these little dudes if I can get in the break again. They would not work with me. And actually somebody came in and was like, dude, what's going on? I was like, dude, I get up the road. And they're like, no. And I was like, what did I say to them? I said, I was like, no vamos or something. They're like, no muchacho. I was like, okay, got it.
They knew they weren't going to help you. They knew like maybe they were. If that was stage 2 and you were up there, maybe.
Yeah. So but that guy in the green jersey, we battled. He was in the break with me when Matt took off. He had a very poor error in letting Matt ride away, obviously, because Matt won that day. And I don't know. We're not really friends. He was pretty like whiny at times. We would be in a group of 5 guys, right? And you would leave a little gap behind somebody, and we're going like 30 miles on the road, and he would like yell at you. And I was like, dude, you're an idiot. Just go ahead of me. You're so stupid. And then, I mean, it's impossible to be, when you're riding for 140 miles, you are never always in someone's draft. There were plenty of times when he would leave a bike lane. Like, who cares? You're going 40 miles an hour down the road. Like, you're going to catch him in 0.0 seconds. And I would just like laugh out loud just because I didn't really know what to say to him. I couldn't say anything. It was kind of cool. Nobody spoke English, or very few people. So I enjoyed that here, like trying to translate, tapping into my high school Spanish, did okay, could survive. would really like to get more dialed with that before another South American trip. But it was a doozy. Volta Ecuador.
What
Really
about
glad I wanted to do that.
did the other dudes, as the race went on, those first couple, because you guys won what, the how many stages of the
First two.
The first two, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was the first, when did things change? What stage was that? 6, 7? No.
No, 5. We went to altitude at 5.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did the
so
team?
We did not race 6, 7, or 8.
Okay. And did the other local teams, like as those first 4 stages, did they start to give you like more and more respect? They're like, oh, these dudes we need to watch these guys.
100%. And that was actually one of my comments in that to some of the guys, on stage 3, 4. Yeah, I think it was stage 4. Movistar was chasing, and then Best PC, which is the only pro team that was there, that was behind them. And then we would slot in behind them. And there would be guys that, would ride up as singles. And I was like, get out of here, man. Just kind of like ride them off the road a little bit. Not really ride them off the road. What I learned was when we were at Tour Southland, there were times when you clearly had to move up. And so seeing that I needed to move up, I would move up by myself. And one time a guy looked at me and goes, man, what are you doing up here? I'm like, I'm moving up. And he's like, and I said, what are you doing? He goes, composition riding. And I was like, that's a very interesting comment. And Grant Kuntz was always huge when we went to like Joe Martin, ride together as a team. You always see pro teams are riding together. They're moving up together. If you try and get up front by yourself, just as that guy did from the Skoda team in Tour New Zealand or Tour Southland, he was like, get out of here, man. And people just like, well, literally probably one guy basically tried to run me off the road. And I was like, what the frick? And now fast forward 2 years later, I'm doing some other punks because you don't want to give him that wheel. And then if he gets up there, then someone else comes up there, then Joey Pants is going up there and you're like, dude, get out of here, Jose Pantalones. So it was actually kind of cool. But so here's the thing. This race was supposed to be in November. There are a lot of Aborigines people here. And basically what has been explained to me, I'm just repeating what I've heard. There's sort of a clash between this like reinvigoration of the Aborigines and then the normal Ecuadorian people. So in November, the Aborigines were like shutting down some of the roads and making them impassable. And finally the tour was like, we can't do the tour. So it moved to December. So usually there's a team, Medellin from Colombia. There's a couple other Colombian teams that come. Action was supposed to be here. I don't know if like Rally would come. Best PC was the only pro team. So I don't want to diminish what this team accomplished because it's amazing. But and that's not why I'm saying this comment, my perspective would have been very different, I think, when we were riding behind Best PC, if there was also, let's say, 5 other pro teams who were trying to do the same thing that we were trying to do. I would have loved to have that battle because let's say we get a W and we get the respect. I enjoy that aspect of this. It's kind of both psychology and sociology of the Peloton when there is a pecking order. And I always loved Grant Kuntz because he would not take crap from anybody. And it's kind of intimidating when you're rolling up and there's a squad of 6 dudes that are on a pro team. And it's like, all right, guys, we're moving up. Well, let's go do this. I really loved how well we rode together as a team here, though, for being a bunch of random guys. And sometimes you just because here's the thing. If you're 6 guys and you say, all right, guys, we're going up there, and 2 guys get kind of like a little nervous or something, and then there's just 4 of you and 1 guy loses a wheel, and now there's 3 of you that roll up. It's like, get these 3 dipshits out of here. And now you look back, you're like, yo, where is it? Like, I just let us up here and now there's only 3 of us. Like, where'd you guys go? When we were, hey, let's roll up, we rolled up and we just mobbed the front and we just took over and we just pushed people out. I'm like, oh, this is our spot. And then, you get a couple little stragglers. And then I was saying, like, to some guy, I'm like, where's your team? One guy would be like, hey, can I get in? I'm like, no. And he just go back. And finally, and this stage that this happened on, we were going down this road for, I don't know, man, it felt like forever. 40 minutes, 50 minutes. It was a short stage. It was the transfer to Quito. And after that we were all like, man, that was pretty fun. We were just like telling people to get the hell out of here. So that was a good sort of, we felt pretty confident after that. And then 12 hours later, shrapnel.
So in that, you guys had the respect because you guys had the yellow jersey at one point, and you guys were winning stages, obviously. So you guys, but did the size, your size must have also helped, right? Like you do.
Size definitely helps. The only thing that people always think size does help, but at the same time, it is very tricky when someone's small is kind of like up under your shoulder, because it's harder to get low and like get like, you're not trying to nudge the guy, but he just kind of gets in your pocket and can kind of, maneuver around these if anyone's ever picked up a size 61 bike and then picked up a 54, the maneuverability, I'm in a yacht and you are in a little speedboat. And there is a difference in how these puppies I get on someone's bike and I'm so jealous. It is just this little pocket rocket. Well, I take that back because I was in a spare bike and it was horrible. And it was
dude, all I'm thinking about right now is, that scene from Fast and Furious where it's like they drive the car underneath the tractor trailer.
Basically,
I'm seeing these dudes with you just going underneath you.
I'm basically doing that. I was like, where'd that guy just go to my fork? So yeah, there's a lot of like sliding under my down tube and yeah. But so yeah, I think they gave the fact. It was more that they were like, we don't expect you to be good, but you guys are winning. We can't figure this out. And so, but even though they respected, they still wrote, this was their tour. So they wanted to get dubs and yeah, some crazy finishes. It wasn't the most professionally mapped out finish. I mean, they screwed a couple of those up, which was, we won one that they screwed up. And that's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, packed up, looking at my bags. It's weird. The only flight out of Quito is at 12:45 at night. So it's 4:30 p.m. My ride comes at 6, so I can bring my bike box. And then the flight, I have to get a COVID test there, and the flight is not until 12:45. So I should be pretty whacked out tomorrow because that's just a weird bedtime.
For sure. So yeah. I haven't flown. Is that like standard? Can you usually get the COVID test at the airport?
I've never heard of this. Everybody's been doing it in Quito. So I actually tried to get one here in town today, and they're like, you got to go to like Ibarra. I'm like, it's not a COVID test. I mean, this town, there's 30,000 people, but apparently no COVID tests. So just, it is what it is. And this bike box, I love that I bought this one from the UK, Bike Box Allen. No, this is a product that I don't have a code for. They wouldn't give me one. They're like, oh, no, we're good with ambassadors. I'm like, this is a mistake, but okay. Don't take the bars off. I was wiping the bike down. I went for a ride today. It was a little dirty. I didn't just pack from, okay, I'm going to start this to the last latch was 20 minutes. And I was wiping things down. I wiped the wheels down. I wiped the frame down. I actually closed it and then realized I should probably take the frame back off, open back up. So freaking easy. And now, suppose you don't have to take the derailleur off. I still do because it kind of freaked me out. I'm like, this just looks so delicate. And it takes 2 seconds to take it off. I wrapped up in the towel and then I just slid it in between the chain stays and taped it to them. So this could be a life changer because I hate packing a bike. I hate flying with a bike. I really enjoy flying. But.
So what else do you have to do? Pedals are probably off. Seat post off?
No.
Oh, wow.
I lowered it. You do have to lower it. If you're not freakishly tall, though, you don't even have to lower it. In the video, they claim that you can do it in like 5 to 10 minutes if you're a normal sized human. So took the pedals off. I took the front wheel off and I put it in, and there's 2 straps that you strap it in with. And the case opens, for the people watching, it opens like it opens like, well, obviously like a clamshell, but it stays together at one side. So you're not piecing 2 pieces together. So it just nicely opens. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to set this wheel in here, and I strap it in. And then you take the back wheel off and you put it in the bottom. You put a piece of foam over both sides. Because I'm tall, I take the seat, I lower it, I lay it down, I take the rear derailleur off, and I just put it into the chain stays, and then I set it in there, and you close the box. Oh no, sorry, I set it in there. I put a couple straps around it. There's Velcro straps all over that are attached to the frame of the box. And then I just grab the frame to see. They tell you not to put it super tight, like leave it a little loose, because once it's compressed, it's good. So I just give it a little move it around. It seemed like it's not gonna fly. There's really, I don't even think you would need to strap it down, to be honest with you. But then I close it, and then I pick it up, and then I shake the box and make sure nothing's rattling, and good to go. It rolls amazing. It's got 4 casters on the bottom, big handle, weighs 23 pounds. I know some other ones are really large. So that's my big question here. It did weigh 53 on the way there. They did not charge me extra because it's supposed to be only 50 pounds. But I took my frame bag off, which I think would be a poundish. I did not put anything else in the box this time. So we'll see how much it weighs. I really don't want to pay, or I'm going to be pissed. Or I'm just going to scrape off some plastic for next time. But yeah, so it was not a cheap box, but it's money.
Yeah, my question was going to be if you could fit anything else in there. And then also I wanted to, on the weight thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to say the weight thing, when you go to drop off your bag, that's why it's always, you got to be very nice to the man or woman who's there. Because if it is a little bit over, I've had situations where she was like, okay, I'll let it go this one time. Just because I was extremely nice. At least in my mind, I thought I won. I
feel like you would be a nice person anyways, but that just goes to show, be nice to people anyways.
Yeah.
Even if Tanya tries to charge you, it's like, well, you know what, Tanya, I do have this other bag that I'm checking that's only 30 pounds. So I'm only saving 20 pounds. Can we just pretend these were one bag? We do this. And then if she gets real snarky, then I'm going to have to be like, I don't know what I would do. I guess I would just pay. I'm trying to think what I could take out of there. I could make a scene and be like, okay, well, hold on. I'm just going to stand right here and unpack this big box for a second. So let me just take up a lot of room here, or we can just let it slide. And I guess I could take my seat post out and bring that on the plane with me.
Yeah, you could. I don't know if I don't think you're going to be over. There's no way you're going to be over 50 now.
I don't know. It's probably pretty close. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Pray for me. So we're doing that. And then getting back to the US, and it was funny. Tom had put down after the race, rode a couple times, and it was, here for another week. And he put down a couple intervals, and the altitude was just shredding me. I was like, man, I cannot even think about doing an interval right now. I'll get back to you on that when I get back or something. And then today was great. So every 1,000 meters, you need 11 days. Today was day 10. I went more than 1,000 meters. So I don't know. We'll see. I've been sleeping like crazy. I think that's altitude. It's like people that have chickens, the sun goes down and they're like drunk. They just don't know what, they just go to bed because they're just out of it. It was like 8 o'clock. I was like, okay, I gotta go to bed. And I would open a book and I'd read 2 pages and just think, okay, I'm gonna go. I think I can fall asleep right now. Like my head goes down, and I would wake up at like 5:30, 8.5 hours, just like clockwork every freaking time. Like, man, this is pretty awesome here. I need to live at altitude all the time.
But you're also putting up, when's last time I'm sure you took a rest day. I haven't checked out your Strava, but I'm saying you've been riding a lot. That'll knock you out.
Yeah. I did 1,000 miles, 56 hours in 2 weeks. So it's a stout period of riding.
For sure.
The thing that the 2 big things about altitude that I will have to make a note of or rewatch this when I go somewhere. So you go to Denver, let's say, less altitude. I'm there and I'm thirsty, and everybody walks around with water, and it makes intuitive sense. I'm going to lose more fluid, drink more water. Here, so this town is at 7,500. A lot of the rides, we went to 8,000. One ride, you can go to 11,000, which is brutal. But the first couple of days, I was coming back with tons of water. I was the opposite of thirsty. I could ride and ride, And I think that's what it was part of, not in the race, but when I first got here and was riding and just wasn't feeling good, the altitude hit me. I think I was underhydrating. Number two, I never considered that you definitely need more gear here. It is steep. There are a lot of, can you hear that noise in the background?
Yeah, a little bit.
Hang on a second. I'm like, guys, I'm doing a podcast down here. What are you doing living up there? So usually in Blowing Rock, I can ride a 28 in the back, 39 up front. And even if I get to 10, 12%, I'm not doing 60 cadence. I'm still able to do around 70. Here, when you put on less watts, and it's just it was my muscles, not my breathing so much, that were just messed up. It's a weird feeling. It was, the way I would describe this, I could almost feel like my muscles didn't have oxygen, which I know makes no sense, but they just felt frail. And I would try to push, and it was almost as if someone was holding onto my ankles and just trying to spin some watts or push some watts. I mean, it sucked. If somebody asked me to do like a high torque workout, I wouldn't have been able to do it. There's no muscular strength at that altitude. And that's when today I started riding, and I thought, I might go for this KOM and just try and put my name on the board. I feel kind of normal right now. It was weird. Breathing felt good. Legs felt good. You climb this silly, very steep thing 5 minutes into the ride, which is just the worst warm up for me. And those are the things too that blasted me. A couple times I'm riding out here with Forrest, and so he knows the roads, and I'm thinking we're going over a little lump, and it's a, I don't know, 8-minute climb to start, and he's weighs much less than I do. So I was just zapping myself early. So anyways, the water, the gear, and then also eating, I just was not, I'm like clockwork. Went back to, I needed to listen to like a Cat 4 questions. I came home one day with so much food, and I thought, oh, no wonder I felt like crap the last hour and a half. I was so underfueled. It was weird. There's not a ton of bike food here. There's no maple syrup. Forget just that. Don't even think about that. I found one place, and it was I can't remember how much it was. But okay, that's not even a ride's worth. I think it was like $12 or something. So there's these fruit packets. It's really sugar, fruit pulp, and a couple of things that are probably preserves, like horrible. Would never eat this at home. And it's 120 grams of carbs. So I'm like, well, it's mostly sugar. I guess I'm going to smash these, but they're so big. It's in one packet. So it's like a mega gel. So the size of my palm. You'd bring 2 for a 4-hour ride. And it was just hard to gauge. And sometimes these descents, since it's so steep going up, guess what? Going down, you need to be paying attention. There were a lot of photos and videos I would have loved to have taken, just would have been extremely unsafe. Like could not have done it. I stopped for a few. The landscape is really beautiful, but it's tough riding. It is, you would get real strong here for climbing. And I mean, even getting back to town, I full gas this climb today. I think I did 370 for 14 minutes, and that was the full climb. That's the easy one back. So if you're not full gas, I mean, it's a 20-minute climb to get back into town. And Forrest took me up the other one where we're riding back to the, man, I'm really regretting this. I'm really regretting we're going this way. And I'm thinking this is going to be the worst climb. I'm like, how bad is this thing? It's steep, dude. And granted, the first part is steep, but after you get over that, it's not that bad. It's just kind of out in the open. And if it was hot, I could see it being bad, but he made it sound way worse than it was. But I think it's 800 to 1,000 feet back up. So it's just like, yeah, you're climbing. But it was cool. Really good roads. I'm curious to see how long the roads stay amazing here at all. All this infrastructure happened from a former president that was really into infrastructure. He no longer lives here because of corruption and like left the country. So Raleigh made the comment that some of the roads are kind of getting worse than he saw when he was here 3 years ago. I don't know if they'll keep him up. The sponsor plot, it's actually not even a sponsor, but I'm trying to get them to be a sponsor. I rode those WTB Exposure 30s again. They are money for a place like this. Just cool. Just real the pavement. It's not always pavement. It's these 12-sided blocks that got connected together. So it's nothing like cobbles. It's like pavement patches almost, let's say. But you're going 40 miles an hour down them, and then you see a couple potholes, and it gets a little dirt and whatever. The road goes away for a little bit. So those were really good for here. Really liked them. And
did you race those as well?
I did.
Nice.
I think it's the fastest tire that people haven't ridden yet.
Did anybody get any flats? Anybody on your team?
There were flats. I didn't.
Yeah.
But actually, I had a flat the other day on the way home. I got a staple in my tire. So I was like, eh. So to be fair, tubeless might have taken care of that. I'm happy. I know people love to give me crap.
But hold on, let's be real here. If you were tubeless and something went wrong and you're in Ecuador, that's just that crazy amplifies the situation.
You would be putting tubes in, definitely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess you got a tube with you. I was thinking you didn't have a tube, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you'd have to put tubes in. I mean, I think so. People did flat. Yeah, it's one of the DS had said. I mean, I had the electronical. I'm stupid. Did not charge my bike. I'm so pissed about that. I got over it. I shouldn't say I'm so pissed. I just such a dumb ass.
Dude, it's odd. It's very out of character for you.
You know what it was? The bike was right there. The charger was somewhere. I think we were about to leave, and I thought, should I charge this bike? And I don't know why I didn't. If it was a training ride, I would have charged it.
It surprises me, man. Like I feel like my battery always dies, but when I go to Green Mountain, I just charge it because I'm like, I don't want this to happen now.
Yeah. I think it was just there were so many little things going on that
no, for sure.
I just let it go. And I thought for sure, I mean, there were 4 notes. So I'm like, I got one more ride out of this thing. It was a 100-mile stage. I thought for sure there was 100 miles in that. There were 4 notices. So this is more like me. There were 4 notifications at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and 7 p.m. the next day that all said, charge the bike, make sure you charge the bike. Matt had to charge his bike. So yeah, when it died in the race, I just couldn't believe it. Could not believe that. But, the only thing that sucks is that I wasn't there to help Henry. Actually, no, Henry got away. So the only thing that sucks is that I wasn't there at the finish to try and help the team in some other way. But things happen for a reason. We went through that was a crazy town finish. Maybe I would have crashed or something. I don't know. Matt was like, I think you had a chance to win that one. I was like, dude, don't tell me that. And I didn't. That's definitely not a finish for me. So, but
what about, do you guys think you'll be back next year? I don't know if you can say that or if or.
I don't know if I would come back. I think I would look for another race. I think my time of being able to do these types of races is short. And so next year I'm going to Slovenia in the fall. So that's a big trip to do Andy's Grand Fondo. It's L'Etape. So big with like Tour de France. That was weird. I went between saying France and France. And I would love so a couple things that I would ask of future races. There were some crazy speed bumps here that were like just blocks of pavement that weren't bad, but other people have talked about other races and they said, oh man, if you thought those were funky, you should go to X, Y, and Z race. So other people were talking about other international races, how the roads, they said much worse than this. I'm out. That's just not my skill set. I don't have fun doing that. I got detached I was in the break and got detached from the break a couple times because we were going 40 miles an hour and I could see this huge, it's not a speed bump always. So some of these had jagged edges. I think I talked about in the other podcast. I did my first endo because I went to hop over it, which was not really the move to do, but they're not all the same size and whatever. And back tire caught it and just popped up. And, I think I was probably running 70 PSI, 75. I maybe should have been running 65 on those days for sure. Then the other thing, another racer had talked about a different stage race that he did. He said every stage had a 5-hour transfer in the bus. Okay, so I'm not doing that. So find out about road conditions, find out about transfers. People probably already heard the rain on day 5 was very cold. That's why we got eliminated. And when I went to Tour Southland, there was one day where I was 40 miles into the 85-mile road race. And I thought, I just want to get in a car and I just can't wait till I get to the finish. And at this point of my life, I'm doing these for experience, to continue to try to become a better bike racer, to push myself to try and be a part of a team that wins something big. But I'm really over the hard ass, I'm going to fight the weather also. Like, I want it to be performance based. And there's definitely gonna be some people listening and like, that's part of racing. Yeah, I'm good with that though. I've said it a million times. Rochester just broke me. Just how many years of horrible weather, horrible base miles, horrible spring racing. I'm good. I mean, I went to Crossman's Classic with my teammate Jack last year and left at the start line. We were about to start and I was ready to do it. And they said, okay, we're delayed 10 more minutes. And I stood there freezing cold. And I looked around like, we look like a bunch of idiots. I said, hey, Jack, how pissed are you going to be if I leave? He goes, that's probably a smart move. I said, cool, I'm out of here. And I rolled to the car. I got a bunch of messages like, did you actually leave? I was like, oh yeah, I got my car and left. I'm like, that was the worst race I ever did. I said, that's why I left. I just can't. I've had too many of those worst races. And this story is actually going to relate to what we talk about in the next coffee breakaway with Matt. And it's a good story. It's a good cycling journey story. I'm super pumped this guy's my teammate. He's so 10 years younger than me, similar riding type, really nice person. I think that this team is going to be really good for him. And I think he's going to do some really awesome things. So, yeah. So to answer your question, probably not.
What's the next race for the team?
Well, this team was a composite team.
Okay.
So it wasn't really the team.
This isn't the Velobrew. It just had some Velobrew guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when Owen called me about the team and I said yes, and then he had brought up Matt a few, 5 days later, he messaged me. He goes, yo, do you know this guy? I said, yeah, I know this guy. I race him all the time. He's like, what do you think about him? I'm like, yeah, I don't really know him, but he seems like a nice person. And we've chatted a couple times. Matt had called me. We were chatting on Instagram 2 years ago, maybe. I don't know. I was living in Memphis and he was just asking me like, hey, seems like you've raced a ton. You're like, you're doing this Evoke thing. And I'm just trying to figure out my path a little bit. And I told him, for road stuff, hey, do the biggest, hardest races that you can do. Still go to your local races and get the W's, but always be looking for the bigger pond. And so when Owen reached out about Matt eventually decided to join Velobrew. When I got asked to do this Ecuadorian race, there was another slot open that they hadn't filled. And I said, hey, do you guys mind if I look around for somebody? So I immediately asked Owen, just as Owen's my man, and I know he likes to do big races, and he wasn't able to do it. And I think Matt was the next person I asked. Hey, dude, you said you want to do big races. Here's the UCI race. You want to go? And he figured it out. And it's kind of just a funny story of this. Really, I have a good photo I'll post to Instagram, but really it all started with him saying, so what do I figure out as a cat? I think it was a cat 2 at that point, or maybe a cat 3. Like what do I do? Where do I go with this? And I said, well, what do you want it to become? He's like, I don't know. I just want to keep getting better. And I really seem to like this. And that's when I said, just keep doing hard races. Don't only get beat down, but search out things that are going to push yourself. So, and that's another reason too why I wish, I wish the competition had been even stiffer. It was, it was what it was. But I will say this, and that will be the easiest UCI race I think anybody will do. Just because of when it gets rescheduled and it's the COVID year and whatever, and there's just, people are dying to win, but as a composite team at a real big UCI race, we wouldn't have been able to push around as much as we did. And I don't want to take away, but I want to be totally transparent about how I feel about it. And then Matt's win would have, been harder, been even bigger, but I think it's a great stepping stone to the next thing that he does. And so, yeah.
You know what, dude, to be fair here also, I'm saying on that same note, the team might have done just as well. You don't know. I'm saying, like, I get what you're saying.
Oh no, I think but I think I like a challenge, and I'm not trying to say this in a negative way. I'm saying that if we then had done that and like action had been here and then it's like, dude, whoa, nobody knows who best PC is. They're a great team, but I would have loved to have seen, sorry if that came off the wrong way. I would have loved to have stuck it to guys that I like reading about, like guys, I mean, think of, and it's scary to think of, what if a rally came, Pro Conti, big boss team. It's a different beast. And, there's not really the UHC back in the day when it was NRC, they would show up, and just when they weren't there, it was hard. When they were there, and no, it was not like Legion. UHC back in the day would probably mop them off the floor. It was insane. They're like world tour guys now. Just Boy Van Poppel was this young buck. It's like, oh, he won again. And then they went second, third, and fourth. Interesting. Killed.
Do you think we talked about the altitude tent before you went? Do you think you would do that next time, or do that? Maybe not for that. I'm saying in races in general. Do you think that would be helpful?
Man, I want to make my condo at 10,000 feet, but I've heard that it's very noisy and it probably would not be possible to do for a condo. Someone did a room and they said that it was extremely loud and hard to sleep. Chris ain't going for that. So, I thought about the altitude tent years ago, and no one was huge on it. I'm sure that it's very helpful. What I think is more helpful is right now I'm sitting at 7,500 feet. Go lift weights. You get to 5 or 6 reps and be like, whoa, okay, I feel that a little bit. I think living at it, I would consider, I actually have thought about this. So across the street from our house in North Carolina, we bought a plot, and you could maybe build a small house, but we were like, oh, maybe that'd be kind of cool if we had like a yoga room or a sauna or whatever. Now I'm like, altitude room. Just go over there and do work and hang out and just be at 10,000 feet, and then go train at 4,500 feet, and then come to sea level and destroy people. So that's actually what I'm really looking forward to. I'm like pretty tired today, and so I'm going to take Wednesday off. I really want to just see what riding is going to be like when I go home, if I'm going to feel a difference or not.
Is this going to be KOM season number 2?
Definitely not. In Florida, you cannot get KOMs unless you're on a TT bike with like 5 other dudes on TT bikes. That's why that group ride is so fast.
Yeah.
I attacked. This guy comes around me in the beginning, and I'm starting to like ramp it up a little bit. And he comes around on a TT bike. And I will say, this is the only ride that I've been on where TT bikes, these guys like know how to ride a TT bike. And so he's pulling into this, like the only little kicker of all day. I'm like, this is a mistake, bro. You should probably pull off. This is a mistake. So he pulls off, and I just gas it. And I'm laughing to myself, like, this guy is going off the back. And then I actually thought to myself, none of those TT bikes are going to make it up this little like riser. And I look back, and there's 1 road bike and 4 TT bikes with me. These guys are so crafty that they just get in your slipstream and they are motoring. And when they pull, we're going 35 and just hauling ass. And so, I'm open to publicly getting crushed. There's a sprint line, and shout out to Victor from B&J Cycles, my boy down there. He saw me take it last time, and so he's like, Brandon, and I'm thinking like, yeah, he's like, let me know, like, I'm gonna take this thing. And there was another guy that was there that was pretty fast. I'm like, I don't know if I want to, like, when do I launch this thing? I'm like, I'm gonna wait till he pulls, and then I'm gonna come smoking around him. And it was a little kind of far out, but I thought, I think I can make it. And so this dude takes a pull that I did not want to sprint against. I'm like, I'm just going for it. So I launch off. It's one of those moves where you're just like, you're in the right gear. You feel like you're motoring. And I'm like, dude, I totally got it. And I could see this pair. I like look down and I'm like, damn, there's a dude right on my ass. And it's a pair of blue shoes. I'm like, there's no way that's Victor because he's on a TT bike. And lo and behold, I'm bad with meters. We are 5 seconds from the finish line. And I hear, and a TT bike comes flying past me, out sprinting me to the very end of the finish line. And I'm like, dear God, I'm not about to lose a sprint. Totally lost it. We get to the stoplight, and I look back at Jimmy Sherman. I'm like, just for the record, I just got out sprinted by a TT bike. And like 2 people in me were like, don't feel bad. It happens. These guys they get in your draft, and the momentum, you can't win. Like they go 40, and I don't know. It was bad. It was bad.
Dude, that's pretty insane, man. I'm surprised. I was expecting the story to go in a completely different direction, and you're gonna bet these dudes just ride away from us. But if they're sprinting, that's insane. I've never seen that.
Dude, neither did I. And that's why I didn't even, when we went to the sprint line, I wasn't even thinking of these guys. Yeah, no, it's even Tom had said, this is the craziest group ride. It's the exact opposite of sprint and coast. It's go low VO2 and then tempo plus. I mean, I'm behind these guys going like 360, 370 sometimes. It's 50 minutes out and then about 50 minutes back. If you're tired, you're not making that lead group, I don't think. I would be surprised. That's the one. So, yeah, I mean, well, I won't bring that up. But yeah, there are people there that are good cyclists that they take a pull at the wrong time. The line just comes flying past you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never not motoring. It's almost kind of like motor pacing. So, yeah. Do you know, I just realized we forgot to do the chapters.
Yep. Don't worry, I'll get it. I'll go back and get it. Don't worry.
Don't do that.
No, it's cool. I don't want people, otherwise we're gonna get complaints.
Now we're just scared of everybody. I'm like, can you hear that little? Did a leaf? Shoot, a leaf just fell. Do you think people are gonna be pissed about that?
Oh man, now someone they're gonna message in with some other comment like, oh, what can we get these guys to do now?
Brendan, we heard you playing with change in your pocket, which I've been doing the whole podcast. So if you've heard that, a lot of coins here, dude. You drop a couple coins out of your pocket, it could be like $25. It's a lot of dollar coins, a lot of 50-cent pieces. I'm actually gonna keep one for a stupid reason, and maybe I'll spend it somewhere. But yeah, get a change purse if you're coming to South America.
So do you like weigh yourself down going on these climbs?
Maybe that was my problem.
That's what it was right there. So I wanted to ask you had said the changing, maybe altering your gears a little bit, different cassette or cranks or something. Would you
not cranks, cassette?
Cassette, yeah. But I was thinking, would you do chain rings? I guess I wasn't gonna. Would you go not standard?
I mean, that would be smarter. You know, the guys who have, what did Matt have? Matt had I want to say like a 37, 33. Is that a SRAM thing?
For the cassette?
No, 37 up front.
Yeah. He must be on Axis. Yeah.
Is that the new thing?
Yeah, that's the 12 speed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was a 10 to 33 cassette. So he's faster than me and can spin. I mean, it's a good thing that I like high torque, or I would have been a very sad camper here this past week. There was a lot of, I think my average cadence for the ride was 72, because you're climbing at high 60s and then you're dead at the top and you're at 8,500 feet and you're not pedaling. And I will say 11,000. I went up to it yesterday, just going up there and riding around. When I came down, so I rode from 8,000 to 11 and came down. So I think it took an hour, 15 minutes, maybe, give or take, flying back. Dude, when you're have you ridden up there on a road bike?
Not no.
You go slicing, there's no wind. Like you were just like, meow. It was, the road was pretty straight and it was a perfect, 5-6% going down. And the only thing I wouldn't fully go, I actually didn't look at my speedometer. I think I was mid 50s, but I was actually starting to like brake a little bit because you get a cow that like plops out on the road and you get a car that they're not thinking about you here. And the cars aren't fat. Like you're not going to get something that can zip out of your way. So, and the road can change quickly. So after having flown off my bike the week before I left here, I thought, you know what? As fun as this is, I'm not a thrill seeker. So it was actually surprising me that it was so fun to go that fast. It was because you barely get going and you're just like I can't even explain it. It was really cool. But I figured safety was better. Didn't want to end up in a hospital. So the come back down and then your muscles just feel like crap. Maybe it's just because I'm not used to it. Maybe it's because I'm a baby. Maybe it's because I think I acclimated a little bit more. But going that high just for an hour made the rest of the ride pretty tough. So that was also the day, though, that I wasn't drinking as much. So I don't know, maybe just a little dehydrated. And I'm so regimented with that normally. But yeah, climbing up and crazy riding experience, that's for sure.
What about did the other guys on the team? Did they have similar experiences? I'm sure they all probably had different ends of the spectrum there.
Two of the guys, and we'll talk about this in the coffee breakaway. Two of the guys live at 8,500, so 10,000 of them wasn't really a big deal. They were actually laughing because when we were at, what were we at? We were at sea level, and when we first got here, just did not feel great, and it felt kind of like not smoggy, but it was, Matt and I both said, this is weird. It's kind of hard to breathe here. And the guy from 8,500 was saying, this is amazing. There's so much oxygen here. So they had no problem with it. Jean-Michel, who's a phenomenal cyclist, who was one of the other guys that finished, lives in Canada. He does not live at altitude. He's just a badass. So he did well. He used to use a tent or had used a tent, but I don't think for this race. So, I think another part of it too is, I got good at riding at 5,000, 4,500, 5,000 at Blowing Rock. And part of it was just knowing how your body feels within that atmosphere. So I think if I would ride at altitude for a period of time, train, like just get to know how it feels more. I think that's what today was. I knew what the sensations of the body, I knew what to expect. I knew okay, if I go at 400 watts around that corner, what's it going to feel like after that? Before I was just blindly following people, I'd follow Forrest. I'm like, then I'm dead. And yeah, I learned a lot of little things, just, it's weird when I ride as much as I ride, and then I feel a little bit like a fish out of the water on a bike. This is a weird feeling. You get 2.5 hours into a ride and I'm thinking, man, I'm getting pretty tired. I came home early one day. And I actually think it was because we were doing loops. We got to this park, and I have different ride preferences than some of the guys. That the choice was, we went on like a busy road, got to this park, and we're going to be there for 2 hours. It's like a 3-mile loop. I thought this is going to be a long day. And I just was really honestly tired of pace line. And we were pace line. I'm like, I'm good. I need, like, you guys just go ride. I just got to not do that. And I never pace line with people at home. So I think it was just from a race, race brain. And that day I just got super tired and just thought, I'm going to go back early. So to your question earlier, excuse me, I had a rest day after the race, and that was, I think, the only one. Took it easy a couple days, and there wasn't much intensity, so it was 5 days of racing, day off, chill day, and then just started doing my normal like 4-hour rides, but didn't do anything hard. Just couldn't until today. Went and cranked out 2 efforts, and so it was pretty good. But lowered my FTP big time while I was at altitude. There's a chart that we put in the Discord. I think it was like to 78% of your FTP when you're not acclimated at 8,000 feet. So when you have a big FTP, you lose a lot. And that's the other thing I learned. Lose all that FTP, but I still weigh the same. That sucks. I became more cat 2-ish.
Now, when you go back, you're taking tomorrow off. Today's Tuesday. What are you going to do? Are you going to go right back into training, or are you going to take a little time to chill?
I'm actually, yeah, I was going to say it earlier. I'm curious to see what Tom thinks. Normally I would I think I'm going to finish out this week, just ride, no intervals, no intensity, just cruise. I'm tired. Excuse me. As you can tell, as I'm like, oh, it's 5 o'clock. It's time for bed. Oh, wait, I got to go to the airport and fly for 20 hours. No, it's actually not a bad flight. It's like 7. Dude, I got a freaking first class upgrade for the equivalent of $170. And I got upgraded for free from Atlanta to Quito. And so I was, and that happened maybe 5 days before I left. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. I do use a Delta credit card. I think it's totally worth it. But anyways, so I'm looking at my thing. I'm like, man, I really hope I get this on the way home. It's been overnight flight. I'm thinking everybody else who's in my shoes is thinking the same exact thing. And every once in a while, they offer you a deal on the app. And I was like, hey, you could buy this for $200 or use points. And it's like 17,000 points, take off 2 zeros, like $170. And I was like, sold. I mean, it's a $1,200 ticket one way. It would have been $2,400 both ways. So I say that, and that if anyone's traveling, you need to get a Delta credit card, but also because, to resume training. So I'm going to hopefully sleep. I don't know. First class should be much better than not first class. And the problem is it's only 6 hours, and I'm going to want to eat the food when I get on the plane. So they're going to feed me at like 1 a.m. It's just going to be weird, right? Like eating at 1 and get to Atlanta at 7, and then I leave Atlanta at 10, and I get to Florida at noon. So I should be totally effed by then. So I'll sleep that day a little bit, and then I don't know if I'll ride Thursday. Maybe I'll take Thursday off. But what I really want to do is hit the reset button, and I'm allowing myself. This was a lot of, and this could actually be a podcast in itself. The run up was a lot of mental, like I just had done 3 20+ hour weeks for massive base. And then we had to shift into kind of like race mode and then get ready. And then it was the packing, just all the little things that came into this trip, and then doing the trip and being gone for 2 weeks and now going back. I'm so sick of looking at a suitcase that I think I'll be really lenient with myself I want to have like January and February. I would maybe race in February if I'm super hungry for it. But if I'm not, I'm still going to do mostly base stuff. And, I do base a little differently than I had before. Even, it's hard. When I put out the 5 blocks to racing, I wanted it more on the conservative side than not, because you're not monitoring anyone. But I still let athletes go out and do a group ride or do a couple sprint workouts or do some, maximal hill efforts, or I think that's still good to do. And that's actually stuff that we talked about in other podcasts, where when I was coming up and everyone was saying, oh, we're doing base, we're doing on these fixed gears, there were definitely 1, 2, 3 minute full gas efforts every couple of weeks on these climbs we would do on the group ride, which was strict base. Like you were not getting on the front and doing any shenanigans. These OGs would like throw you off the ride. But we get to climb, and there were a couple climbs that people would just gas it. I'm like, well, this is really base of these. And everyone's like, well, we're on fixed gears. You have no choice. If you don't, you're going to fall over. So it was like a high torque, max effort. It was amazing. It was so fun. But so yeah, I think to answer the question, go back, chill. Christmas is in freaking 3 days. I mean, it's been nuts. I'm like, my sister's like, sweet, what are we getting mom and dad? I'm like, why are you guys talking about Christmas? Oh my God, Christmas is the next week. Damn, I'm totally not in normal zone. So go back, do that. Really super pumped to see Chris, spend time together. It's been a while since we've chilled, obviously. and get ready for the new year. I mean, 2022 is here, and I think do a block of volume and easy riding during the week with maybe a group ride on the weekend, because it's more like an over under. And I'm really enjoying meeting people down in Florida. I don't have many friends down there, so it's kind of, that's when I'm more lenient with people about doing, when I ask them, why do you want to do this group ride? And sometimes like, hey, I need to meet some people. I just moved here. I want to be social. Cool, go do it. I have an athlete actually that is down a different part of Florida, that the first comment I said, hey, you can go to this ride whenever you want. I just want to let you know that I think this is garbage training, but this all has to fit in your life. If this is a fun ride to go do it. We can work on other stuff the other part of the weeks. But if you are asking me, am I training as optimally as possible? The answer is no. And that's just, I made a podcast about, I'm not going to tell people just what they want to hear, because then when things don't turn out exactly as they hope, you can't go back and say, hey man, we've been doing this freaking group ride that I've been allowing you to do week after week. Whereas as long as I'm upfront with them and say, hey, this one ride, it was like 55% coasting, no real hard effort. It was just like not good. This other ride though, super fast. It's kind of racy. If I only do it sparingly, I don't know if I would do it every week. I would maybe do it every other week, but I need to be careful because I know Jimmy Sherman loves to do this ride and I really like riding with him. So I'm going to have to maybe like put up the stiff arm, but we'll see.
Yeah, but dude, I think taking a little bit, which you are, but take some of your own advice there. It's like, you obviously, like you just said, you want to meet some dudes, have a good time. Like, I think that fits in, you know?
Yeah, I think it fits in. I think maybe the nice thing that I did before I left for this race was I rode out with them. So it was like 50 minutes fast, and then I just rode back by myself. And that's actually maybe the middle ground of, and you don't need to go out and attack everybody and like try to beat. You could rotate in the back and just chill and just be a chill day. So
that's a really good point, dude. I haven't talked to athletes about that, but that's good. Like, hey man, like go do is the front part of the group ride spicy and that's what you want to do that, and then chill and ride home by yourself.
A lot of my rides, when we had training races in March in Rochester, were ride to the training race, do it, and then ride home. It's a great long ride. It's tough. It's hard. But it's not like you're doing a 3-hour road race. It was an hour and a half of hard. And there are days you could go full send and try and win. There are days where it's hard. I actually never, this is actually a bad thing for me to say because I actually never tell an athlete to do this. When it's like, well, just go sit in. It's like, dude, if you're going to go rip it. But is it short? Is it long? How hard? Like if you're going to go do a 6-hour gravel race, that's going to be a death march. It's going to be really hard the whole time. I mean, if you sit in, you're going to be dropped, and then that's not fun. So I think if someone's listening to this and they're thinking of like, oh, well, maybe I will try that. Just make sure you're honest with yourself, what you're actually going to do on that ride, and why go to the group ride if you're going to just get dropped, and that's not a good use of time. So, but yeah, no, I'm actually really looking forward to the weather. I want to get back in the sun. I might take Christmas off and go to the beach. I don't know if I see that happening. That's probably a lie. But I still, dude, we've been so busy doing Evoke stuff, planning all the stuff that I'm trying to think of when I moved down there. I have not put my feet on the beach yet. And Patrick is like, are you at the beach? I'm like, dude, no, I haven't even gone.
Dude, so I need you to do me a personal favor. I need you to go to the beach on Christmas.
I might do it. We'll see.
You should.
But yeah, a lot of good Evoke things happening. Can't believe it's almost going to be the end of year 3. It is so exciting. I get so amped reading the Discord. I just had an athlete in Colorado that has moved out there that is hitting with some of the hitters, and he's not even cat 1 yet. And he actually amped me up. I was reading his files this morning before I left for the ride. It's like, maybe it was with coffee. It's like 6:00. And I was like, you are getting me so pumped up right now. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go crush this climb because X, Y, and Z is doing it. And he's just Sam. It's Sam, actually. I think you might know Sam. Yeah, you do know Sam.
Yeah, Sam.
You know Sam. So, yeah, if anyone's listening on the Discord, you're missing out. Not to be that guy, it's like you're missing out, but you really are. So, well, dude, I gotta go.
Yeah,
I
no,
need to
do
get
your
ready for
thing.
this flight.
I only had one topic to talk about, but I think this might be more of a Discord topic. Pants for
What is
cyclists.
it?
Which
What
is, I
does
know
that
you're
even
like,
mean?
what are you talking about? Saying like, dude, I don't have like crazy big legs, but I have issues with pants. I've done like a deep dive and trying to find myself a new pair of pants.
Dude,
What?
what are you you're trying to wear like super tight skinny jeans? That's your
No,
problem.
bro. I'm saying I want stylish, good pants.
So what's the problem? Are you saying like, yo, my quads are so big, pants don't fit me?
No, my
You
God.
are.
See, I knew you were gonna call me out there, but I'm saying I think cyclists do have an issue with pants fitting the how like normal pants.
What pants? What pants?
Oh my God. All right.
No, hold on, hold on, hold
We're cutting this part
on.
out.
Do not cut this out. Do not cut this out. What part of the pants are you talking about?
Okay, yes, maybe it would be the quad. I'm saying usually it's like the waist. Usually
All
the
right, you know
waist
what
is
you
either
want?
too big or
Look
too
up.
small. Go ahead.
I mean, no. I have pretty big legs. I've never had this problem. Okay. AG jeans, or I'm trying to remember what the AG stands for. They have a pant called the Graduate. I have like two pairs of those. They're nice. They look trim. They're not like sucked onto your quads. I want to say they're maybe $100, maybe 150. I don't know. It's a nice pair of pants though. It's like they're so comfortable. But I've never had that problem. Do I not have big legs? I feel like I have pretty big legs.
See, the issue I have though, let me elaborate here. I have a specific brand that I'm trying to make work, and like they aren't working.
They're called skinny boys. what,
Yes,
what are they called?
Jinko came out with a new jean, and they're called the Skinny Boys.
the anti Jenko. Oh my god, I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, I've got like Ecuadorian cyclists in my Jenko jeans. What brand of jean are you talking about? Now I'm so curious about.
They're called that brand's called Outlier, dude. And they're like amazing pants. They're made in New York City. It's awesome. But the skinny, see, they make slim pants which are too slim, and then they make the regular pants which are too big. I'm like right in the middle.
Right? Yeah, regular pants. So then maybe their slim is more skinny. And I'm not trying to be a D, but yeah. I mean, I've put on some pants for sure. Like I got into like a little Levi's kick. They had some cool like gray charcoals a couple years back, and bought a pair that was just like I don't order clothes online because I want if I try something on and I'm not in love with it, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that just don't fit my body great. But anyway, I got this pair of jeans, like, oh, these are dope. So I was trying different ones on. And I remember I tried on these pair. I was like, well, maybe they could be, I was looking at these and like, they could be a little bit skinnier. And so I can't remember what the model number was. I don't think it was called skinny jean, but I got it. And it was so tight. I'm like, who is wearing, how is what? And so it was what you were dealing with these jeans. So I think I ended up on, I can't remember what the model was, but oh man. Yeah. So pants though, I think can be tricky. I guess I agree with you now that I think about it, because I have tried on
now it all
pants.
comes around. Yep.
Do you know what it is? I think in my brain, I've gone back to this brand so many times that because I've just forgotten about that like weird fitting thing. There's another one that is really, so let me see if you Google it. Hold on. I think if you just do AG jeans, stands for, yeah, you'll find that. Adriano
AG?
Gold. Okay. Yeah. Adriano, I think they're Italian, but they're made here in the US, in LA, I want to say. Okay. And there's another brand that is called, Chris got me them. I'll have to look at the tag.
Is it Swerve?
No, they're a little stretchy.
Yeah, people were recommending Swerve, which has a little stretch.
But yeah, stretch jeans are money.
Yeah.
And then I think European pants are the bomb. They're just super high quality. I have a pair that I bought in Belgium, I want to say, years ago. that are still kicking. I bought a pair of jeans from them that are called, I have to look those up. We're gonna have to do a follow-up on clothes. We're gonna have to do clothing, off the bike clothing edition. But yeah, I've tried like Rafa pants before. No, they tried to be Euro, not happening. Those Rafa pants might have been tight quads. And I was like, wow, you guys are a cycling company. Why are these so horrible? But anyway, oh man, I got this. I don't want to. I can't spoil the surprise. I'll talk to you about this one on the next one, but it's clothing and everything is so cheap here. I didn't really go crazy, but I found some really cool shirts that are very much like Rafa. And I was like, this is going to be $45. It was 11. So I can't get into it though, because it'll spoil a surprise for somebody. Anything else?
I don't got anything else, dude. Not even, I gotta go do my Christmas shopping now.
I did Chris he's getting into pickleball. It's like, everybody in the US apparently. So my sister plays pickleball. My nephew plays pickleball. Chris is now playing pickleball. So we had to get him geared up. And I got in on some gifts from my sisters, from my parents, which is kind of like slacking, but they were.
Thank you, sisters. No, I do the same thing. Thank you, sisters.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like to do my own thing. And I have done more group stuff lately though, because I don't want to like anti-group it, but it is nice when your mom's like, man, I really love this X, Y, and Z that you got me years ago. And like my friends have asked me who got me this, and I always think of you. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I should do that more often. So maybe I'll do a follow-up. Maybe I'll do like some January gifts for my parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, bringing this back to cycling. This is a gift that somebody got me that I'm going to regift. I think other companies do this, but Ridge Supply, the sock company, I don't know, they're out of North Carolina, I believe. Mm-hmm. They do you can buy a monthly membership, and they'll send you you can do like 3 months, and they'll send the person like a pair of sock every month.
That's cool.
I think it's like a super, like a dope gift.
And you're going to regift it?
I'm definitely going to regift it. Yeah. Everybody loves socks.
Meaning someone gave it to you and you're going to send it to somebody else?
No. I'm going to buy the subscription for somebody.
See, that's not what regifting is. Regifting is I buy it for you. And you're like, oh, Brennan, lame gift. Hey, Alex, I got you this gift. And you send it to him. So I was like, wow, this is quite bold that you are announcing that you are regifting.
Bro, no.
So whoever bought Josh the socks, he hates them. He's sending them on to somebody else. Whoever gets the socks from Josh, you rate as a regift. So you're a dick and a douche all in one. Can we say that on bike radio?
Oh, my God, dude.
Okay. Keep the comments coming. All of Josh's friends be like, Brendan is still such a jerk.
No, those are the friends who are going to be getting the socks, and they're going to be like, wait, Josh regifted these.
They're like, wait, Brendan was right. He is a dick. Oh man, it all comes full circle.
Okay, dude, go do your stuff. I got to go. I'm starving. So
all right.
Safe travels. I don't know what I'm going to eat. We got to probably rice of some kind, rice with something. I don't know what.
I got rice. So I treated myself since I got a top 10 a day. I was like, I'm gonna get some papas fritas. And I was like, and I just want white rice. And the guy's like, do you want soup? And I was like, no, he's like, do you want chicken? And he's like, so wait, white rice and potatoes. And I wanted to be like, dude, I'm trying to keep it like safe before I go on this long flight home, so I'm not pooping myself. And $1.50. It was awesome.
Nice.
Enjoy.
See you, man. Bye-bye.
Bye.